Welcome back, SethBling here. Today I've got a couple of tricks for map makers. I've got a way to make grenades in Minecraft and also rocket launchers. So they're basically explosive projectiles. Wherever they land, it's going to explode. And so the grenades here you can throw pretty quickly. I've actually named it grenade if you look at my hotbar. Grenade and rocket launcher. And then the rocket launcher, I think you have to be a little bit... Well, no, you can do it still pretty quickly and it'll work. And it's just using... I mean, I could go in survival mode and it would still work. It's pretty awesome stuff. And it's only going to cause the explosion where you land, which is not something that's necessarily easy to do. It's actually really simple to get it working. So... Hold on. I've just teleported myself to the machinery that makes it all possible, and hopefully it's not too loud. So this is it right here. This is all the redstone you need to make this work. It'll work anywhere you want in the world as long as you set the radius high enough. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it down even more. 1%. What's going on here is that there's a clock. This little comparator clock, and that is spawning primed TNT up in the air with a fuse of 3. That's 3 ticks. That's about 150 milliseconds, and it's spawning it right here. So if we look, you can maybe spot the TNT in there as it's spawning, and it's spawning very rapidly because this clock is happening very rapidly. So it summons this primed TNT up here. Then we're using the new @E selector. So we're teleporting one entity to another. So we're teleporting this entity to this entity. Okay, so what's going on here? The first one is basically looking for a prime TNT within a radius of 15. So it's looking exactly for the TNT up here. The second entity, the one that is teleporting to, is looking for an XP orb within a radius of 200. Now this C=1 is important. This makes sure that it only searches for one experience orb. Because when you throw a bottle of enchanting, you can sometimes spawn multiple experience orbs, and the teleport command only works if there's a single destination target. So that C=1 is important, but otherwise it's pretty simple. The R=200 will specify how far away from this machine that the grenade throw works. You could also give X, Y, and Z coordinates if you wanted to center it somewhere else. And then this one just kills all the experience orbs. In radius 200, it's the same selector. And so this is also new. You couldn't use /kill with an argument before. So that gets rid of the experience orb as soon as the TNT is summoned. Although I'm not actually sure. Maybe that's not even necessary because I think the TNT explosion might just kill the experience orbs on its own. Okay, so that's how the grenade works. You know what? Sure, let's try it. Let me. I'll just copy. I'm going to move this command block over here so that it's not getting activated anymore. Let's see if it does delete the... Yeah, it looks like the TNT explosion correctly deletes the experience orbs anyway. So you don't need that extra command block, I guess. Just this one. Okay, so then for the rocket launcher, that's this guy. Okay, what's going on here? So we're using a test for. This is using a new feature of test for. Okay, so the way test for works is it tests for, well, it used to test for a player with, some specific selector stuff. Now it's looking for entities of type arrow within a radius of 200. And then there's this is the new part of test for. Oh, well, other than the fact that test for can now look for entities, but test for can now also look for NBT tags. So basically, this is looking for an arrow within radius 200, which has the in-ground NBT tag set to 1, and this B is just necessary. It specifies that it's looking for a byte there. But so this looks for an arrow that's in the ground. So if I shoot the arrow way up in the air, I'm not going to be able to follow it. You can see, maybe you can see it off in the distance. It's not until it lands that it actually explodes. And that's because it's only looking for arrows that are in the ground. So once it finds an arrow that lands in the ground, this comparator is going to turn on, and you can even, if you watch, you can see it turn on for a moment. There you go. Turns on for a moment. And that's going to trigger these two command blocks in the order. So this one first, and then this one. And so this first command block does the same thing we were doing over with the grenade. It's going to teleport the TNT that I'm spawning up here over to the arrow. And then it's going to kill the arrow, but you can't use /kill on arrows. It just doesn't work. Just have to accept that. So basically this teleports the arrow down to y = -200, which instantly despawns it. So it's a way of quickly killing the arrow and bypassing the /kill restriction. So one thing I will note is that this only works if there's one arrow at a time in the world. So if I shoot 2 arrows quickly, it's going to despawn both without actually destroying any TNT. And I could probably fix that here by putting a C = 1 like I did for the experience orbs, but we don't know which arrow it's going to get. In fact, yeah, we can see it got the nearby arrow, even though I don't think it had landed yet. Yeah, so yeah, this method doesn't quite work very well if the player is spamming arrows. So if you're a map maker and you're using this, maybe you'd want to restrict them to only having 1 arrow at a time or something. I don't know. But pretty cool stuff. You could always use like a scoreboard objective to keep track of their ammo count or something like that. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. This stuff was definitely not possible before the new stuff with @E and the new test for and whatever. And so there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this. But thought I'd make a quick video just for those map makers that might want to start playing around with these explosive projectiles. There's some really cool stuff. That's about it. Thanks for watching.